I was having some issues. I put it on like video game mode. I just haven't been on YouTube in a while. I don't know what I've been doing. So I'm just playing around with this. Woke up with some epiphanies I want to put down. I might have to do a part two of that sign in the background. So using my background photos here, I'm just getting into right now. It was the new moon in Libra, which is actually going for 2 days, actually tonight, and now would be the technically the tail end of the new moon because the next new moon is still rising apparently. I have to look at my time thing that shows what time it rises. But think about new moon, it shows when that's when stars are also brightest because the moon is out of the sky. And so my rising sign is Libra, but the moon, like your internal sign or whatever, is in Libra. I don't know how that corresponds with your rising. I'm still learning this, but I do know my moon is Pisces, which is opposite Libra. So I'm into elements. I'm gonna do when I get my stop and go. I'm gonna use some fair use and do some. I'm gonna scatter through collected informations that I've learned and correlated going through qigong and the elements, and also corresponding their Chinese astrology, which is yearly. But then, so what we're getting into is kind of like a layer thing. So I'm going to really get into this shit. Um, and I was showing how in like just so many things, I'm always in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is how your energy is put out. And I could go through other various photos. This one right here, um, I believe I was 18 years old. So back from basic, it was like I had to join National Guard. I did administration, and then they took me to a combat MOS, which was artillery. So they took half people to Fort Knox, half people to artillery. So I trained with, I trained at a combat um, facility. So that was Fort Sill, Oklahoma, the artillery where they do all that stuff. So I'm getting at etymology, and like you see eight, but you also see a tie, like an EI. We're doing with sounds and symbols. So I'm gonna bring this all together a little bit better. So I get into alchemy and things like that. I'm getting into symbols. So with the American flag, you can see the X if you look in the stars, and then you can see the seven and the six with the red and the white, and those are like wires, white, red, and you see wires. I'm gonna get into that. So definitely doing like electrical sparks. You see the L, right? You see the L like boxing off, which is also the seven. So I'm also gonna get into 9/11 and some symbols. Um, I really want to do stop and go. I'm trying to figure this out, get my microphone working. This is at my work. A lot of symbols. You can see R and L at the center of Everlast, like dealing with right and left. And then we can also kind of see layer. Um, so I'm getting into like dimensions and energies. We're going to talk about different symbols. And so we know that the samurai uses the crab for the mask. The crab is represented by the shell and claws, which can also be seen as paws. So I'm going to get into applause. Applause, like when you do good, which can also be seen as apples. So, you know, it just sounds like a bunch of sounds fancy stuff, but I'm going to tie this in place like riding a bike. When things start stabilizing and spinning, it kind of bullshit goes to the outer and pulls in to the center where things aren't fucking wobbling. Um, I'm going to get more. I've gotten into these symbols before. I don't want to get too trailed off because what sparked me to go on right now, I might have to do a part two, is some epiphanies that I had this morning. I like to do, I like to go live when sparks are flying in my brain, but also a lot of my information is private. Um, I was thinking about how concepts of depth perception in materials, and in material, it's mating. I gotta write down for all it's mating layers. So mate, like games, like check, mate. Um, I'm just showing things in my background, taking use of my background while I got this streaming. I've been renovating this place. I still got to mop the floor, but in my everyday work form, when I put my mind to my body, and just like I showed with that biking, doing stuff, all this other stuff, just hits my brain like lightning. Sometimes I wake up. Um, anyway, so I'm gonna get more into that stuff like chakras. I was correlating that with shark. I was just watching iPet Goat Part 2 and seeing so many connections. When it shows the shark in the back of the board behind Obama's head, you know, I see that also relating to chakra. And the D on top of it says Democrat, but it could also be dream. It could also be like dick, like that red energy up to the head, because there's also, it's getting into a lot of symbols that we know occult use. So I had this guy, I got an auto detail business where I'm at. This dude was here. I didn't know he was waiting for me. He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for you in your office. I'm like, oh crap, man, no one's allowed here, dude. I do stuff by appointment. I'm still organizing. So I literally got all my personal crap back here, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, dude, rock it out, man. So I go by like energy. I'm like, all right, this dude's obviously doing his own thing. But then I look back, I'm like, oh man, this dude's seeing like all the shit I fucking do. Um, so I'm in and out of this world. I know when you look in someone's eyes and they're glazed over, if you're looking over like a Rastafarian or as I don't disturb my meditation, I relate to that. And I look at that like the lily pad above the pond, like Tot Wali Baba's speech, where you're above the pond and that's um, you're not caught up in it. You're like away from it and you see everything. I think I deleted a lot of stuff like that because it's more personal stuff. I don't know if maybe someone catch a view or it's pretty early Sunday. Um, I want to get into this epiphany I just had. I need my board. But here's the thing, like for me, the point here, assertiveness and attention is also in this dimension. Um, but I'm going into the back and forth vibratory frequencies, also thinking about life and death and water and how water is primordial um, in the memory in water. So I've had a lot of deep epiphanies, which I actually don't want to trail into too many places off to where I'm taking this, because my target focus is on the epiphany I had this morning, but it ties into this. I want to cover what's on the board before I erase it that this other guy saw. I'm going to go into this on a part two. Um, so, about the rigor mortis was the stiffness upon death and the looseness with life, but also with plants, when they go limp like that, that's also when they're dead. They're stiff when they're alive. And I'm looking at I'm gonna get more into the to concepts of renewal relating to trees, relating to tree of life, mainly corresponding with breath. And in breath, we see the source of healing because oxygen is in water, H2O. We also see the H as that ladder, heaven and hell. Um, this gets really deep, also gets into meaning. So a one epiphany I had is um, when you see like written is also written is retune, you're retuning. Like we're in the moment now, speaking, boom, boom. I mean this, you're catching that like a ball. I'm catching that ball to like pass the ball back and forth. If I put too much spin on the ball, I cut it away too, right? And also my Chinese is metal rooster, which is cutting too, which also has to do with Libra, which is breaking shit down, and then Pisces is tying together in my mind. So a lot of that I like my own space. I like to work. I like to take shit on, move with a purpose, and then I also like to take back into my own space, not necessarily like a brown recluse spider, but maybe you know what I mean? I got my own web. I don't like motherfuckers to fuck with my web. Um, Maybe overthoughts there. I'm thinking it too much. Take it back. So, because sometimes my own thoughts just spark streams. But one thing in this elemental thing I was watching is that my force is water, like a fiery, independent water force, mutable, and that I do well with also water signs, but more fixed signs that like more channeling. So I just think about that in combination with cutting. So I get into like origami, just like the flag and folding. A lot of my experiences have taught me a lot, and I don't want to store everything out there. I also collect album art, stuff like that. I got a really cool store down the street. Get more into that. So this was out. I want to get also like I was talking about the mask. When I get into this stuff, this was released 3 years before the COVID outbreak. They called it Disease X Dummy Run. Remember, I was pointing at that X, and we know that Elon Musk changed. You know, Twitter was the big thing for. Um, I wouldn't even just say necessarily communication. I would say mainly buzz beep beep beep, like they do on your phone now, which is streamline what's important to you, so to get people fucking into the like a herding mentality. Like if you're a shepherd, right? Beep, whistle whistle whistle. You want all the sheep to move in one direction or the other direction. It's like I know I needed some sun, but I ain't fucking white. Like white. You know what I'm saying? Like hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like black people are they're not black. You know, it's just like animals, man. Pork is an animal, but now it's a product. It's pork. A cow. A kid is thinking of a cow, so now they're thinking of beef, which is feed, belief. When you change the B around, so I'm gonna get into that. That's what I'm getting into on this alchemy shit. Gosh, I really hope I don't lose my train of thought too, because I'm gonna get into shield, seal, CL, which is also the seven, which is also seven colors, what we see. But it doesn't make sense. It's like tongue twisting words with different meanings, tying, braiding. Um, like real time when I'm thinking here is actually some of these epiphanies is like is like that one step forward, two steps back, like holy shit, and then I catch it. I can't even explain it, but I position myself like windsurfing, drop these fucking sails, pick up these sails, you know, to go in the direction and to get ahead of the wave. Not if you position yourself too stiff, on the wave, it can pull you down, and then you hit the fuck, go underwater. So it's like staying above the water, but also moving forward. Um, I find that a lot of these visualizations help in real form of practical application as physical beings. We can get lost in thought too. Um, and then you can spell thought with two T's with how in between them, which is also who, how, you know. So we look at ourselves as answers with the dancer. So it's like there's the one out of place is the rib, just like the 7 and the 6. I show the two sevens as the G force with the cross breaking away. Um, so the rib is you, is me, is Neo, right? So I'm going to show all this reaping what you sowing and the same thing with etymology, because when you say things, it's also passing the ball to you because you're the one who takes on the meaning of what I'm saying. I'm ineffective if I say a lot of fancy fucking words that you don't know or whatever, and I feel smart about it. You know, this is just putting it into real time how we play this game. And it's like when we pivot step, there's always one foot on the ground, which is the solid, which is the connector, and there's one loose foot, just like a battery. There's one that's on the ground, right? So we call that pivot. In golf, they have a divot. You're supposed to put the divot back so roots can grow. Um, so my life too is also very good dealing with people. Like I don't necessarily get into etymology and all this stuff with other people. It's more my field that I protect. Um, just going through all this old stuff, my family, getting written up for having my dog with me, who's no longer here with me, and just taking on all these things. Like I say, cutting piece, pulling things together to make like a bonsai force to share with fucking people. You know what I'm saying? Like my energy is so fucking strong. Um, so just reading all this shit is just reading somebody else's perspective. For me, my epiphanies and everything like that are like sparks, man. They're fucking sparks. Um, I'm into a lot of stuff too, like also figuring things out because we're figuring things out always. Like talking about figures, figuratively, speaking figuratively. Um, and when you talk about figure, the first clothing of Adam and Eve was fig leaves. So somehow that went to lambs, which is one thing I'm against. I see that as a lamp, right? Because I'm about flipping the B and the P. So productive, destructive. Like this is phosphorus light, and we'll see that. I'm gonna get deep into that too, because I look at that as like a rudder on a ship. I look at that as a paddle. I look at that symbol as the splashing. Um, there was like this movie called Splash and Dolphins. Um, we know that dolphins supposedly have 3 brains and speak with telepathy. Fuck, I don't hope I don't forget my first epiphany. Um, so see how I was just playing with things the other day, just thinking about core, and how or like this or that. We're dealing with directions at the center. Um, I was looking at the Oreo symbol and things like that. I don't have time to write all this down. But what got me too is like I started off talking about pause, applause, and pause. We see swap, right? So in vibration. So I'm also getting into things with fingers, with the lines because we see tie M like in time. Also dealing with might like a fist. Rage, rage against like my illest shit. I never have anybody tuning in, man. So maybe someone catches this. Rage Against the Machine was my first album as a kid, still my favorite. I cannot listen to that all the time. I don't want to because I protect it. I don't want to water it down. So when I hear that shit, it's like boom. sparks hit, man. It's like sparks hitting dry fucking wood, fire. I don't want to water that shit down. That's a figure of speech. Um, so, like, we put ourselves into a resume, which is like resume, like pause. Like we put our ambitions and our past into a resume, which is also immerse, right? And then, which also makes me think of dreamers, but immerse has R and scene, which is vibration and scene. Um, I don't want to data dump information because um, the big point of me doing this is to put down this stuff down. It's going to tie into what I'm talking about. We see recently in the news the whole thing going on in Hamas, right? The numbers they kept saying. There's a lot of stuff I don't have time to. I screenshot. I got like thousands, and I got my page just what it is. You want to see some sick symbology, and I'm behind. But like with current events, I can talk about it now. So we see 2-6, this kid Jake something, 26 years old, um, 260 people killed. So what I see is the patterns, right? So people like get out of here, man. But like I'm getting into shit. Okay, this is what I see, right? So when I get into when you look at circuits, I see Christ in circuits, but we're dealing with the square, the triangle, and the circle. So it's kind of showing the flag. We hear about turning the water red and all these things. What are you talking about? We know red is past too, past tense. And we know read is present tense. Present. Um, okay, so read is instrument. I don't have my notes too because I got more on this stuff. But when we get to um, the swords open source, I also relate that to me. I see the swords as the two T's between how. 2T is also like duty, like duty. Okay, so anyway, so playing with numbers and symbols, I remember seeing like, okay, on TV shows, how, I forget what the show was, talking about how in the old, I think there were synagogues or temples, showed the religions with all this numerology and planet stuff. But then I remember as a kid, my dad was really into the Bible, but like psycho, like Indiana Jones' father. Like my family had like a private investigator to get me and my brother because we were like handing out flyers to people. So he was involved in like this religious crazy shit based on Jesus, and I'm so thankful that nothing like ever happened to me. Like I always have forces of protection, and my dad was never off in that weird way, but he was very into the Bible, and I think a lot of it had to do with working the family business, maybe being bullied as a kid, whatever. Somebody asked him if he found Jesus. He found harmony in that. And for me, like, okay, I'll play the game with people. I don't try to re-educate them and all that other shit. That's why I keep a lot of shit to myself, like, because like a lot of people, Alan Watts even said, a lot of people that say all this never read um, the Diamond Sutra or any of these other books. They don't see the correlations or connections, and it's hard to see out of the box when you're in it. Like I love the saying. It's hard to see in the picture when you're in it, but at the same time we're holding our frame. We call it mind frame or a case, and we know that there's casing of letters, but we also know casing is going back and forth. So we're containing like vibratory frequencies of meaning, thought, or symbiotics, or this or that, which leads to this, which leads to that, which leads to this, which leads to that. Lead is the heaviest element. Lead, like red, past, you're past, you're behind. Lead, you're in the front, like read, you're playing. So E is also energy. So I'm getting into Renégade for a reason. Um, Renegade for a reason. You know, my boy Mike sent me that song. Renegade was one of the last songs he sent me. A lot of things, but it also relates to my name. So it also relates to my art name back in the day. Um, also relates to I used to listen to drum and bass music. There's a lot of people use the term renegade, so I put it with the accent E because that's my name, and then I also use it with the G, which is also my other symbol. Um, and it also means green and energy, and that's what I've been putting out. I noticed there was another like Renegade One. I called in Bro Sanchez. I chimed in. I got some followers from him. Appreciate that. I remember he was more flat Earth, and I was talking about chakras being opposite a rainbow and dimensions in the moon. And I saw that opened him up on some other stuff he had on dimensions, and got more into that. But what really got me was the Ptolemy Soter stuff, looking into actual timelines and this just a lot of stuff going on there. So that's going to be a whole nother presentation. But when we look at Tool is 62 because we know that Tubal Cain, Tubal Cain was the first worker. So we're also dealing with elements. We're dealing with hard and soft, and 2L can also be looked at as the pause symbol. Okay, so we also see the face, and we know that FB is Facebook, like a glasses, like if you're wearing glasses, or those are the eyes, different ways you can see that, right? So 26 letters. So we say let there, the first words were let there be light. So it's also letter B, letter B. So we're dealing with bright. We're also dealing with moving right, right? The old, I'm not talking about scrolls, how it used to be. We're talking about English. We're talking about American Middle English, which is AIM. And it was by Noah Webster. We're dealing with webs, which can also be looked at as the number symbol, is a web. I do want to talk about weed too, because there's something there too with opening up the different pathways. But we look at, I want to cover this too. See, I wrote about face is 180 degrees. Well, 18 is R. I see R as rib vibration. We also see 1 and 8 is 9. I could do in 15 too. 9 and 15 is 24, 24 hours. These are things that are hitting me quick. But with that 2-4, we also see the BD, you know, and also see that if you're bad, you get cold. We're rating this to double because we also see the two bowls, Tubal Cain, Tubal Cain. We can see the tube. We know push and pull is pulse. I've said that with the P and the L. We know that when you're going with black, black, it's also blight, which is tying, which can also be seen as lead, lead, bleed, bulb, believe, elbow. Now I'm getting to elbow, I'm getting to the number 7. I'm getting into the bending. So talk about elbow. Pound, dog, pound, Osiris, fucking shit. No, it's also the jackal. Jackal, no, jackal. Jackal. is doing with the jack. Look at jack in, yacking, yacking. Yo, I got to get to the epiphany I had this morning. Um, so it's also the double having to do with it's also the double 42. So we look at double, okay? So we look at double. It's like the 99 grill and all these things, right? When we look at double, we can see the split between the D and the B. This one had me getting into 911 too, because we know the L is the 7 in building 7. But I'm gonna kick back to that one either on a part 2 or actually stop and go or have my notes because I can tie in a lot, which will really make a lot of these things I'm talking about pop out more like 3D images. Whoa. And we know, like, when we say Jesus Christ or Jesus Christ, it's also G's script, G script, G script. We say like energy script. Um, So this is one I probably want to marinate on actually before jumping into a live because I wrote this all when it was in my head and I kind of have to revisit. But when I was looking at languages, that's 88, and I see that having it corresponding to heaven and hell, and also the number sign, right? The number sign, the ladder letters, because we're dealing with languages, which is also the Tower of Babel. Um, Abel, Cain killed Abel, which, Cain is naked, Enoch can be seen as night. So we see also the sword and the stone. If we see this as a handle, like a sword handle, we can see the sword and the stone. So, I mean, this is, dealing also with tones. And then we could also see the corresponding Ks being split, which is also night, spelled with a K, silent night. So I'll get definitely more into that. I was also shown how tarot has arrow between the two T's, like dealing also with the swords. Smith, time, emit, emit. So Twix. Oh, I think I was getting into that with Twix too, because the X is the same symbol. And I was thinking about the candy bars of the two Twix. Also kind of relate into to that. But it's funny when you break the X sideways, it's like a twitch, right? That one's straight, one's sideways, like a twitch. Break me off a piece. Break me off a piece. You got like a twitch. Because one's to the side. MIT, a mitt catches the ball, and you can see that as a paddle. That's being a little creative there. I get it. And 26 letters, 62 doing the tool. I think I was thinking about how the in Hebrew, right from left and left from right kind of stuff. BF, baff, baffle, met, mit, omit, to omit, let stir, letters, it's let stir and rest. So we got stir and rest in letters, right? So we're tying together symbols and letters. So we got stir, let rest. Um, Man, there's a lot. There's a lot. So my great grandfather came from Scotland. Started Pontiac. It was Oakland. I mean, it was the first Pontiac dealer in America. I have a little barn. So kind of how I got my spot right now. But I've been into like car symbolism. I could really break stuff down. Um, my dad was kind of like outside the car business, and my parents got divorced, so I was overseas. I had a crazy life, but I've always had some kind of like I've always had stability in like a family business, mainly from my uncles. But I've always been the dude at the car wash, detailing cars, stuff like that. But I've always been the fly in the wall, picking up on stuff. Um, it's how I look at myself. That's just one thought in my brain right now. Divided by, see, I'm looking at the D and the B, and we know that the D. I was looking at Duran, and endurance, and a whole lot of stuff. We know that's the Alpha Omega symbol. I like to double check if it's a dry erase marker first. The number of times I've done that. And I want to get into like Sound of Music, how that's also sum, like Sumeria, the sum, MOS in the military occupational specialty. Ends justify the means. How the end times are always now. Like the end times, N is at the center of end, is always now. Muppet Muppet fluffers. I try to like, well, I get bursts of energy, and I twist it, so it's not like reverbing. I notice when I'm around people that are pissed, I pick up on it. I get pissed too. So what I want to transfer is like, things I'm learning. Like, okay, so one thing is because I say mastering energy is traffic, like real time, man. I'm not trying to go back in the past and be like these like I am, but I mean like real time. How mastering energy every day, man. Like so, someone like lady, fuck you, blah blah blah. I'm not moving on because I went past her or something. She kept trying to pass me. Right turn. I'm just gonna shorten it up. It's a little more than that, but I just get, hey man, thanks. I did one of those, and she just one of those deer in headlight looks, and to me that was a form of alchemy. I walk away from him, man, proud of myself, yo. I was laughing, man. I felt light on my feet, man. Able to pivot, step, move around other motherfuckers, not getting caught up in their shit will pull you down, man. You fucking bitch. You don't appreciate shit. Blah, 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 blah. Just feel that your spine. Like, man, the more light you can be, the more you can be your own puppet master. And I see PM and puppet master, prime meridian, whatever. When we sleep, like you say, sleep on it, shit is real. Like, what was I thinking about fingers? The only finger with 4 letters is the ring finger, corresponding to marriage, 2 R's in marriage, in time. So that was also writing out all the letters here. So that's just something I noticed. So when you're dealing with a ring, maybe that's like taking on the rib. Like there's different ways we could look at that. Also Saturn, if we take the R away with the Satan, there's some kind of vibratory thing going on, spinning. I don't know if Satan is just one thing. I had a really sick epiphany too regarding that. I'm gonna have to get back. I can't remember it now. Let me touch on this so I can erase it. About face. I also see after. Aftermath, and Dr. Dre. There was one on that dealing with red. I got a lot with the symbols in the music industry. We can also see how this right here at the center is the letter M. M body, M body, Mercedes Benz. Damn, I'm in the car business. I'm on a brain for it. Yeah, right. Mercedes Benz. Which would also be, if you flip that down, it would be that. Or we can also see And we also see up. If we flip it, if we do that flip like that fold, we see up, up, up. UPS could also be rearranged and put sub, sub, sub. Zero, res, rect, record spin. I don't know. Fucking around. But when we see the I, that's up, above. I mean, there's different ways of playing that. Because that's the all. Seeing I, which is also ACE, right? American Certified, also dealing with the technicians. You got those symbols. So when we see ACE, please, yes, please, a lot of stuff. But we're also dealing with say, you say. I mean, there's a lot going on. Well, the ACE is also the K. And we could also play around with that and get case. Because these are concepts and notions, speaking and thinking. But there's also tools. And if we look at, we could see two L's here too. You know what I mean? Because we're speaking between two people. Like meeting in the middle when you're communicating. M, and then you got unicating, like unifying, right? Between the two pulses, two people, or the beat, right? Because if you're like a DJ, you don't want to play something no one's gonna dance to, which is fine. I just bring people to the dance floor that can dance to my beat. Language is 8 letters. Languages is 9, like up above. Now there's 9. That's also where you have division. Shit. Like the eyes divide, the eyes separated, the one eye. And then when you exclaim something, claim something, to exclaim something. Like to not claim, don't claim it. To not claim it is to claim it. Fuck. I see something also like climb and claim. So then we can also see Malik, the bowl, relating to physical, and then relating to smoke, the burning. Malik would have to do with molecule, Malik the bowl. Is how I see it. We know workers work in cubicles. Gotta organize here. Teach. I see something also with etch. Etch in stone. Where was I right? So, this has to do with the devil card too. Man, I had a really good one on the devil card. Devil card is 15, which is also the O. Let me look at this symbol. I was also thinking IHS and Jesus. They're the only symbols with this. One has a curve, one doesn't. When we aim through a sight, it's one cross that we're aiming through, one eye. Missing in action, we see the eye in the center, with the eye up above, missing in action. I've already said that KIA is 9/11 and military date, and you look at it like that. I'm going to revisit a lot of this stuff, but also I'm going to get into other symbols. We heard about the three suns. Resun is reason, and I titled this one Renegade for a reason, mainly with my first epiphany. I can't wait to do a part 2. Also with arrows, we see soar, like an arrow, soar. We also see rose from the dead. Like 0. So when you do the numerology on 0, it minimizes to 10, which minimizes to 1, which also gets into attention and how you got the M and the N at the center, which are the waves. And then the LO, which is the Elohim, the Lohim. Yo, if anybody chimes in on my stuff, man, they gotta shout out Renegade, Renegade, man, please, man. Because I don't like to leak out my stuff, man. I'm tying in so much sick shit. But I am curious who sees this in your feedback. Holler at the scholar, man. It's a phrase I use because I think it's funny. I don't walk around like I'm scholarly or none of that, man. I try to walk around receptive and in tune with my steps. Because another reason is, 1, that's a job. 2, it's really I don't like to be in repetitive situations where I have to be a different way for other people. I love you. Let me be myself. I love you, man. Same way. Like, you know what I mean? And that restructuring my life in that way, based on what's true. So, also, that told him that her story to history presentation made me look a lot more into veganism, and I've always researched a lot of energy, but I think there was this push and pull with man-made knowledge that I really debunked a lot of it for going in on it. But then I also noticed, talking to like Alkaline City, I unfollowed him because you're getting, oh fuck, was that not going through? I hope that other stuff was recorded. Not, I will not erase this, and I will revisit this. But like I was saying, Alkaline City made me research a lot of stuff in plants. I disagree with a lot of your thoughts about other stuff in regards to like the how I see things. But what things that you are spot on is with your alkaline stuff with Dr. Sebi. Even though I do cross-reference a lot of information, I never just sit on anything, dude. It's like real time, making shit, connecting wires and frequencies. Because although there were things I disagreed with from his point of view, now, like that we all came from Africa and basing it on that, these were theories, but the stuff that wasn't theory that we can cross-reference and see is what actually worked, what he actually did find, how there was life over 450 degrees Fahrenheit in steam, with things that were alkaline over not, and that's where life comes from, or dies, like things like that, or it's like next level, like from a steam engineer, and then he used other information on mucusless diets and stuff like that, where they also had wrong information, but what he cross-referenced and found out was this and that. Now we're also cross-referencing stuff, but we know certain things about how we tested certain things in alkalinity and affinity to the body, which are tried and true. And there's other things, other places I want to take this. My point being, I checked my email. I got like 30,000 emails. I signed up for this vegan thing, and they sent me literally like 10 emails in one fucking day. and I'm just getting into how people's empathy has also been weaponized as consumers. So we look at this all the time in ice cream trucks with happy cows, happy meals, um, people eating gelatin for their face, which is like animal dick and the worst parts of animals that aren't used for dog food. And we don't know that dogs can eat the same food as us, stuff like that. So, other streams to come. I encourage people to look into that. But I have some really cool experiences I want to expound on. I want to get into some of these books and symbols. Um, I've been decoding a lot of shit on 9/11. I'm going to tie that in also with more on the flag. I don't know if the first part of this got was recording here, man. But what I want to get into is also how here in K, that's also 11, how the L can be seen as a 1, and then how we also have 1 right here in the MNO, because the E can be turned, the M can be turned as a E. So I'm also getting into the symbol with a P, and then how we have Christ. I'm going to show you what popped out at me. Kilimanjaro. There's a lot going on with mountains and stuff too. But with this, I was also getting into Kujikiri and the ninja cuts, the 9 ninja cuts, dealing with senses and also metaphysical stuff. In the beginning, I also want to get into that too. How the is 3, and in 3 we also see tree. And now, if we look at the T and the capital H, we can also see like 3 crosses. Um, there's different ways of looking at that too. So what does that mean? Obviously, we can derive ether. We know what we say derive, we say drive. Like boom, boom, the key doesn't go, doesn't start, doesn't drive. What can we actually derive and go somewhere? So I see a lot going on with I'm also going to get with the medians in the road, how the median is in the middle, and how we see this at the center of the alphabet. There's a lot going on there. So, and we know that the play sign is the triangle, right? Left and right. Right can be written. I'm also going to get into that with reflections with the M and the N and directions. Reflections and directions, pulling into the center and pushing away, things that popped out at me, like origami. But there's a lot going on with this 10 as the X, how I see that representing the X. And we see the X with the feathers, right? And Rene Descartes, who said, I forgot my name, not Descartes, but he say Descartes is to take out of the cart too, or to take out of the box. Their family crest is an X with the 4 feathers. All right, so I think, therefore I am. And we know think has that K as well, right? We got thin, thin, thin. When we're dealing with angles, we're dealing with acute, which is to close. And that's where I come in. That's where I come in. Renegade, epiphanies of Renegade. I get the few. So we see like scissors or closing. Open, open, O. And then we see a pen. We see a pen, okay? Or we can see a pendulum, which is dual. A dueling M. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I'm going to get into that too. So we also get now. I lay me down to sleep. Where the last is the Z. I'm going to get into that. representing the 26. We know that Z was also the symbol used with Putin with the whole invasion right on the tanks. They used that Z, and we know we see that 26 with the whole Hamas and Israel thing, like the 26 Jack, the 26-year-old, and 260 people. They moved it to 200 to 600, and I'm gonna get into that. But the day it was announced, they kept saying that 26. So I'm gonna show what I see. In the 2-6, we got the BF, just like the FB. So also could be a mask. Facebook. Um, but yo, this is so deep. I put some of my other things on private, which I should actually can kind of show. Um, what I'm getting into with the Jesus Christ and the 74. Also other symbols we see. And you know how I interpret certain things as like squaring the circle and things like that. But when we get into the DB, we're also doing the 2-4, like the 24 hours a day. Um, there was something in 48 too. Fuck, there's something in 48. If we look at like that alpha omega. Um, damn, what would look like a clock, like the hand of a clock or something, isn't it like that? It swings back and forth, tick tock, like Godfather, grandfather clock. I'm gonna get more into that. Yo, one place I went with my opa was the oldest like clock factory on our store. So cool. I'm gonna try to find some of those old pictures. So I also see symbiotics like the row your boat, blah blah blah. I was looking at arrow. I was showed arrow at the center of the two crosses, like being with Jesus, and how a road, like when you add the devil. Um, I got some sick ones with Satan that I didn't write down. I hope they come back to me for the next one. I was just showing how core could be rocky if you write it like rope. Say that as rocky. Um, so just being creative here and see what comes out here. But we also see ROC, rock, and then key. Man, I got a lot of. If you like these symbols, I got a lot of sick ones. I know I'm chiming up on myself here. No one's tuning in, so I'm gonna clock out. Like 2 more minutes before I hit that hour, and then I want to see if I got this down, and then I can erase it and continue part 2. I want to keep rocking because if this is still flowing, I don't want to slow it down here. But with the twigs, I saw something corresponding with which is with the double having to do with the alchemy. We're dealing with alternating current, the split of the alternating current, which is with that AC, which is also dealing with that calibration in movement, uh, critical acclaim. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in acclaim too. Um, climate, climate change. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, climate change. Oh my god. I keep thinking I'm gonna tap out, but then the stuff keeps resurfacing like bubbles. Like, whoop, whoop, whoop. I see this, I see that. Um, Calories. Um, I got some fire notes I want to tie in, but I'm not gonna slow down my live stream here. Mainly what I do is when I want to go live and I start looking at stuff I already wrote down. Sometimes I think about what's fresh in my head. I said I do alchemy. Um, I chipped my tooth on a car door, and it actually ended up symmetrical. So it's also about that Libra rising shit, dude. Like I got. Anyways, we'll get into that one. Cain killed Abel. After Cain killed Abel's was the first hunt. Was the first that was the first kill. Doing alternating current. Um, Bella is also love too. I mean, you can look at there's a lot of stuff going on there, but we know that Cain is also ink, dealing with writing, right? Love is real. Writing is like written, retone. Read is dear. So we see the correspondence in both, like based on placement or angle. I'm just gonna read this shit because I'm like my brain's blank for a second. I got this in front of me. We know all our knowledge of first plagues and sicknesses first originated or recorded of in Egypt, along with slavery. First dynastic rulership where humans also deified themselves and murder was incorporated into the spiritual system. Even cannibalism on walls, eating organs from enemies, which I think they show the heart too. Speaking of Cain and Abel symbol here. Um, this other one's on sentience. So I want to get into sixth sense and sentience. Um, it's interesting too how the fingers supposedly correspond with planets. What we do know is what we can feel. We can feel the different, like if we touch, we got 5 fingers and then we got the 4 pits between our fingers, which are supposed to be the subconscious. Like if you're in something, put your fingers between your on the webs of your fingers here and see what that does to your brain. So I've been playing with this too, and like literally our veins are like wires. So don't say my name in vain also has naive man. Naive man. I'm gonna write this stuff down. When you see this shit, you're gonna be like, holy crap, man, you're gonna give me my props, man. Nobody's really watching this yet. And this when you add that cross is native, right? So and I'm hoping my screen isn't flipped too. But anyway, this is Renegade. I'm back playing with my camera, back with my microphone. This is getting down some images. And a lot of what I wanted to get down was the devil and the shovel, too. Um, like when you spin that, too, we're also dealing with a shovel. So also see the spade shovel. Um, anyway, I'm going to get into that one. I'm going to get into that one. We'll also deal paid with spade and all that stuff. Spade is taking away the balls. I don't get why they fucking circumcise, like take away skin off of the kid's dick, like let alone like their fucking mouth or some shit on the spiritual system. Yo, that's another reason why I don't think, man, it's like all the Jews are all. I never get into that shit because you see the Pope eating fucking animals and shit. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt elitism is an energy frequency that keeps fish grouped together, that takes away from independent thinking or independent. I see as connection with God, or I see as um, tying, entangling, and then attention, action,
And you flip that, and then the word go, right? So I'm going to get tango and tangle, right? Or we also see goat, intention, goat, intention. I mean, there's a lot going on. You know, we see net, goat, basketball player. There's a lot of shit I could throw into the pan at one fucking time to show off how much shit I can throw into the pot at one time. But it don't really mean nothing unless people are tracking where I'm going with this. And it's showing how there's some. It's showing that it's bringing to light connections that maybe people don't see. So I was looking at the cart symbol, right? So this was my grandmother from Scotland, right? Scotland of old. Let's go into it. This one right here. So they were the border clans. I like Braveheart and shit. And I read it. They supposedly fought with Robert the Bruce. Uh, my Oppa was from Hungary. My mother's father. I got a mix, man. But like, I felt really connected to this and to like all the shipbuilding stuff. Um, I was looking into these symbols. Looking into these symbols. What's cool about it is they were the border clan, like the only people that stopped by storyline. The Italians from Invasion. That was the Picts in blue. But then I question everything in my storyline when I realized that everything is now. It's like a congruence of frequency, if I'm saying that right, a wave of frequencies, constantly channeling. So this happens. I even see in in my metaphysical reality a depth perception. We see a depth, 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 and then I look at like there was an old furniture company called Hitchcock. This was my grandfather's, and I look at the symbols, right? The down shit and the feathers, and these have to do with sleep. And sleep has peels, which has apple. Apple peels up, peels up, peels. Uh, so there's no question. This is like a correspondence of a dream world. See, live the dream. Well, fuck, that hurts. I'm bleeding, right? This is my body. But I'm like, I look into someone's got like, I know my eyes a little glassy, but I'm here. But when you see that, you're looking at somebody like this, like, dude, where are you, man? I'm here. You're somewhere else, right? It's also that ability to meet people in the middle. I see like eyes is probably the oldest communication, other than feeling. I think actually there's different forms of communication that depending which way you're using, but the senses. You can use eyes. You can just tell the things that you can't hide. You can say and lie to somebody, but I can tell he's fucking lying because that little smirk he's hiding, the way his eye, like that alone is the oldest form of communication. Um, so another meditation, herbal medication. Uh, you can do this. So what I do is just a meditation like this. I'm looking at myself in the screen too, but I'm holding my center. But now if I go like to here, so I go, okay, do this with me. Look at your hand. Look at your hand. Okay? I'm in my body. I'm in my body. You could probably take on like my hand as an avatar by doing the same thing in a way, but like do this yourself. Take yourself away from the screen. Just look at your hand. Stand by a mirror. Look at your hand. I'm in my body. Look at the front of your hand. Look at the back of your hand. I'm in my body. and touch your fingers and feel yourself in your body, right? I'm in my body. And look at yourself in the mirror. I'm out of my body. I'm out of my body. I'm out of my body. I'm in my body. I'm in my body. I'm out of my body. I'm out of my body. I'm in my body. I'm in my body. I'm in my body. They do, what is it for the triple? That's supposed to be 666 or something. There's a lot going on. But that's also 18, which can be seen as vibration. R, rib, whatever. Oh, thanks, man. I got someone tuning. Yeah, so I just woke up with some epiphanies. I kind of forgot what I was going to write down. But it definitely had to do with the elbow I was talking about. It had to do with ham, which means bend that knee. Bend that knee is with Abraham. When you look at dialect too, dial, and then ECT can also be electricity, could also be etc. Set was the first son. Set. Am I saying that right, or grandson? I still gotta look that one up, but no, set. And then I'm looking at reset. Reset. And you're looking at what happens. Hang on. I'm gonna erase this. We know that omni. When I look at one knee, I also see that too. I have to write that a different way. Okay, with the dividing symbol too as well. So we know that the division is this, but it's also this. And we also have dive. We have dive. Divided, take away the two D's. We got dive in the center, right? So a perfect 10 is a perfect dive, which has no splash. So when I said name in vain, we have naive man, and name in vain. Thou shalt, house, and hall. Naive man, name in vain. So we're dealing with meaning. We know the moon just went from waning. I'm playing with words here. Hang on. We know that the first way of writing 5. I said this before, say it again. Old language, but also 2 as I get into movement is also 11. So God equals 26. We know God equals 26. So I'm also going to get into the Son of God being the 74, which is Jesus Christ equals 7. I actually got to get to my notes because I wrote all this down. I don't want to miss a beat. We'll deal with the 7-4. And then we also know we're dealing with floor. Like if I look at flora, fauna, but we look at floor, we look at roof, we're just missing that one, like, right? Needle, Eden, which is the Eden L, needle, reap what you sow. So what? Soul, so L, soul. Damn. we're also doing a loose and tying, right? Loose and tying. Say tens, ions, tension, like this crap, man. Let me take a quick breather. Yo, I've got someone checking in. Feel free to comment. Sometimes my mind's like waves. I'm just kind of waking up. I had something on that English with the 73. Boy, the good thing is if I'm recording this, I got a light that means it's on. I'll be able to see it again. I don't really have time to even watch a lot of stuff that I put down because I got so much on the plate I'm trying to tie a lot of this stuff in with my microphone and stuff. Well, we're going into the moon, the new moon, and how NM is at the center of the alphabet as well. We're doing what phases, like phrases. So with the new moon, there's no moon. And damn, I'm gonna get into this shit. So deep. New moon. We know that the full moon, we can see like Freemason. Wait, ancient and accepted. So one has an NM and one has an FM. Ancient and accepted. Masons and Freemasons. So we got the new moon and the full moon. We know that the ancient is the Luna. Also calendar with the elk. I gotta remember what I was thinking with the double hand. With the D and the B flipped by the L. Also has to do with the alternating current. How AC is split by the L. And alchemy. Fuck, shit. I was getting into the 24 hours a day. Playing around with some sounds right now and symbols, like, with 42, having to do with fortitude. But it all kind of relates to vibration and thoughts I was having about bonsai tree. Oh, big ups, Barry Took, man, appreciate it. I know I got some more followers on my channel, man. I appreciate that too. So, BDL can be seen as battle. Battle too. Damn. Good L battle. When I would see good L and battle having to do with like blight. We see bright is light. Blight, you see blight on an apple or tomato, it's black. So black and blue, we're also doing with that BL, right? Black Lives Matter. Hang on. BL. Holy shit. Well, we know that L can be seen as a 1, so 2-1 is tone. It's the tone. We're setting the tone, right? Newton, who had the apple, is new tone. For real, man. It's new tone, new tone. Yo, when you look at, I need my notes. Well, let me rock with this. We'll look at Nibiru. Nibiru. We got Bai in the center. Bai is like a mix or a Bible. Bible, like the two-bowl cane. But you also have ruin. We know the ruins, the ancient temples are in the ruins, right? BI also equals 11. Shit, get into this. I'm just reading some notes I wrote down recently. Was getting into Medusa and like the Cobra energy. I would think I was looking at how Lee Harvey Oswald was killed with a cobra, with a Colt Cobra. I was like, a Colt Cobra? Oh, he was killed by an occult cobra. I don't want to go half-ass on this, man. If you're checking in with me, I'm still here with you, so you can chime back. I'll talk about anything really. I'm going through some early morning epiphanies. Oh, another thing about me, I was born between two eclipses that happened in 1 week, or like 13 days. July 20th, 1981. So my sign is the moon sign. I'm a Cancer moon. I'm a Cancer Leo cusp. So my sign ain't water. My sign ain't fire. My sign is steam. Steam is my sign. And it's also the sign of oscillation, which also has to do with alternating current, which I have like this really intense get shit done fucking energy, and combined with a mental, I'm doing my own fucking thing. I like to be in my own world, Pisces energy. I pick up on shit. So if you're tuning into my channel, man, that means you're picking up on some of my shit, dude. So I don't really like to put my shit in the wrong places. I'm going to get more into the baptism stuff and Baphomet, just playing with that B and the P. But also hit me how when you look at energy and what's destructive and what's productive, is a flip. It's a flip. It's like, and I'm also going to get into paradigm shifts. And some things I saw with reflections in the alphabet too. They took away cursive, and they say that this is the land of cursing, right? I swear sometimes I get up, and every freaking day I'm just, motherfucker, get the fuck out of my way constantly. Like, that energy's intense. But I'm fucking yielding that shit to be productive, and just, if I can just do little tweaks on that energy, instead of getting people, instead of, yeah, man, name. I notice it does a lot for my health, like mentally, physically. Being able to pivot step with energies, like that awareness, being aware. Which when we look at aware is also, we look at Apple. We're dealing with that A, and we're dealing with that pole. And spit the apple. So it's, you're doing A, and then we're doing wear, which they started wearing clothes, right? So we look at a wear, right? And we look at clothes, right? We look at clothes like a clothespin. People dipping in, diving out. Which I was getting to that dive stuff, but when we look at acute and obtuse, an acute angle, which is the narrow, obtuse has suit, obtuse, which is also due. I'm gonna get a lot of that shit, but obtuse, you got suit, and I also want to get into cards, dealing with the force suits, the force suits. All right, I see I lost who was viewing, man. I gotta come back. I was still going because you were on, man. I gotta get fresh. I'll pick it up. Thanks for tuning in, Barry Took. Let's build on the next.